My amazing Aquarians, welcome into your general monthly reading for the month of July 2024. I hope life has been treating you well. But doing two different flips. We have the Four of Wands, the Judgment card, and the Six of Pentacles. So it's a time of gifting, okay, to yourself and maybe to other people. But it feels like you're putting in the hard work and you're seeing rewards and evidence of things working out for you. All right. I do feel like music is a big part of your month. You're moving and grooving is the vibe, the message coming through. There are little stumbles along the way, but it feels like you're even enjoying that, making the best out of things where things feel imperfect, where it feels maybe a little bit difficult here and there. But it feels like July is a more enjoyable, more successful month in comparison to the previous couple months in general. You also, I feel like, have been going through, and maybe more so throughout this month, going through spiritual development, soul development, and release through it all. It does feel like you want more out of life at this point than you once desired, or maybe you once desired that to an extent, if not fully, and then kind of drifted away from the belief and the connection to that. But it feels like you're going to be pushed to think about your wants, desires, your needs, and how those are potentially at this time, to an extent, if not fully, changing or already have changed or winding, closely back. But I feel like there is a dance through life that you're going through throughout the month of July that feels quite smooth for the most part. It feels like you can't help but want to bond with people in different ways, or maybe in certain ways that you haven't been one with or experienced for a while now. You're going to be pushed to think about your childhood as well for whatever reason or reasons. And this could maybe be a little bit rocky to have to connect to or connect back to in a sense, because of, say, a rough upbringing or certain difficulties you dealt with. But we need you to remember that everything has been purposeful, right? But also that you have been through a lot worse when it comes to maybe a rough job. For some, I feel like it's a toxic job. Could be in regards to where you're living or who you're dating, or maybe a difficult person or people within your world in general. It feels like you know a lot, when it comes to what you went through, but it feels like purposeful protection came through spiritually by blocking that out of your memory. So that you could maybe go through something in a different way, or you could just maybe shift on forward and not hold on to the truth of whatever that ends up being from your Aquarian past. But it feels like you're going to be, in a sense or in certain ways, feeling spirit removing the blindfold so that you can now shift forward with a sense of truth and clarity, illumination, if you will. You're going to as well find that people are noticing how smart you are, okay? How intelligent and caring you are all the meanwhile. I feel like Aquarians for the most part are very caring in nature, but it does feel like there's a specialty about the way you care for not just people in your life, but yourself, maybe even that situation or two of importance, watering things quite strategically and at times effortlessly. But it feels like you're seeing, again, results due to being caring and putting in the effort, like we've been saying. But it does feel like there's levels of abundance. I know we say this a lot in tarot, right? It being, a multitude of positive things in your life, right? Love, attention, money, progression, growth in your life in different ways. But it feels like there's certain levels of abundance that you're just not noticing fully or at all because maybe you're very busy, a lot on your plate. It could be just an imperfection or two standing out and kind of overshadowing that abundance in the moment or in general. But we will push you to stop and maybe smell the roses at certain points. Notice maybe by taking a step back even how well things are going for you, how things are actually falling into place. And feeling in that moment kind of like things are more music to your ears than they once were. It's as if you're as well going to without meaning to, and it feels very spiritually guided, connected. It's like you're appreciating even the difficulties. You're even more so appreciating the imperfections in your world. Now, a lot of Aquarians are going to be pushed to as well at certain points throughout the month. Stop and ask yourself, how am I feeling about my physical appearance? I know that's obviously not something to stress about or to overly focus upon. But there's a feeling of you being very good looking and also your energy being part of that, being drawn to this specific reading. And so as well in that moment, if there's an imperfection or two that stands out to you as a dislike, right, or just maybe even hatred for some of you, and that's something you need to work on, they're asking you, well, what can you do more of and or less of in order to better that physical aspect of your appearance? In Spirit saying it's not about overly focusing on it to the extent of feeling negative, right? It's about asking yourself productively, and this could even apply to other areas of your life. What can I do, again, more and or less of in order to see progress with that, or maybe just improve whatever it is for good? It does feel like you are dealing with one, if not multiple situations, and for a lot of which, look at this. It's an investment and or a job situation. It could be your business where you're feeling restricted. And they're saying, especially if you're working a day-to-day job or a night job or two, just, again, adjust your perspective when need be. Avoid the drama, the gossip, and do not complain. It's going to be essential throughout the month. But there is going to be appreciation flowing towards you for being somebody who doesn't give up or just has stuck with it, does their best, and maybe even helps other people throughout it all. Okay. If 609, look up the angel number meaning. The 9 of Cups and the 7 of Wands, it's going to feel like there's a wish fulfillment that you are being granted in a sense, and it doesn't feel like it's something that you maybe for a select few drawn to the reading, you're manifesting it, right, and have been for a bit. But it does feel like either way, it's a manifestation that's involved effort along the way. And even throughout this month, it reminds me of me and my business. I want this business to take off and support me to the point where I never have to be a server again. Not to say I don't have certain benefits otherwise and the purposefulness of my serving job, but you get the point. So apply it to your situation. What have you been manifesting with levels of effort along the way? It does feel like this is going to leave you throughout the month and even more so moving forward with a lot coming towards you. Expectations, maybe more work, more on your plate in general. I feel like a lot of which is going to involve some quality attention, and people are going to reward you for being somebody who is, I want to say, talented, good at what they do. And I also feel like on a random note, you're going to be gaining a lot of random phone calls, maybe even random messages online, text messages. It could be emails as well. You need to use your discernment and intuition when figuring out in the moment, quite in a fleeting way, do I answer this phone call? Is it junk? Is this going to be something that I will regret not answering in the moment or being on top of? Okay. You're also going to find that randomly certain, I want to say family members or one in particular, could be a friend or two from your past or that you haven't been connecting with, reaches out to you or gets back to you quite delayed, in a delayed manner. You as well will have certain moments where you respond, I feel, randomly to somebody in a delayed manner. It's because I feel like Spirit was messing with you or speaking through your mind, or maybe you were focusing on something or in the middle of an accomplishment otherwise. But with that random message coming out, I feel like it's a time for you where you're being reminded that you just need to keep reaching for the hope when need be, and you need to keep your independence in the forefront of your awareness because it's quite alive at this time. I mean, in general, but it feels like a month where you can't help but feel like at times your money just goes up and down, but it's taking an increase and it's all about how you manage it, right? It's as well, when it comes to what's coming towards you, going back to the 7 of Wands, it's about how you manage it, right? And as well, I feel like you need to be remembering the importance and the benefits of cleansing your individual energy, whether it's Palo Santo, sage, it could be essential oils, incense, you name it, and making sure that you are doing your best with the utilization of your experience, your knowledge, your intuition even, and selectively Spirit's guidance to avoid the person, place, situation, maybe people, and even occurrences and maybe accomplishments at certain points selectively that don't carry good energy, or maybe are going to leave you in a sticky situation or just doesn't feel productive in the moment for whatever reason or reasons. You as well are going to feel like a loner at certain points. I don't feel like that's going to be a surprise for the majority of which drawn to this reading, whether you describe yourself as one like myself or not, but I do feel like you're going to as well feel like there's a lot of quality bonding taking place, whether it's more with people at a distance, and or up close, you know, in your physical reality. People may feel the need to touch you physically. I know that comes off a little weird putting it that way, but and I can relate recently, say at my serving job, people just want to give me hugs, right? To say hello, to say goodbye. People just want to, it just feels like a lot of physical interaction taking place for whatever reason or reasons. People just like your energy and, yeah, your personality, your good looks playing into it. You're just desirable. For some of which is a focus on a twin flame, and you need to remember whether or not this person actually is meant to be in your world moving forward, whether you're connected to them at this time, energetically, in person, or not. But I do feel like there is quality attention in other ways as well, online and or in person. But I do sense that your choices are taking a true highlight as well. In you asking yourself, what do I cherish in my world? Whether it's a person, a place, a situation. Sorry, it's very hot here. It's like 108 as of yesterday in Fahrenheit. But anyways, what do you cherish in your world? It could be a person or people, a place, a situation. It could be certain positive self-care or otherwise habits. But what are you doing too much of? Maybe it's more so rewinding back and you get to now notice how well you're doing by not wrapping yourself up with that bad habit or two, or situation otherwise. But for some of which there is something you indulge in too much or give into temptation-wise too much, and we need to be cracking down on that, okay? So that you can be living your best and, I want to say, healthiest lifestyle possible. As well, the way you're expressing yourself through accessories, clothing, the way you're using your hands and your body otherwise for gestures and expression, once again, is very noticeable, it's likable, and it's speaking a lot about what you've been going through, again, spiritually and soul development, evolution kind of wise. Kind of wise. I feel like there's somebody in your world who is kind of wise, but not the wisest soul in the book. Interesting. But they are very important for this point along your path. Now look at this. Going back to where is the Magician? I can't find it in the moment because the cards are feeling a little bit messy. You're going to need to clean up, get organized, right, when need be, and maintain that throughout the month because that's going to be essential for your mental status, for clarity, you know, when making certain decisions and holding back and whatnot, and navigating, you know, trusting your internal compass. And I want to say, even when it comes to choosing which levels of spiritual guidance coming in different forms to trust and what not to trust, maybe to, you know, discard. But I was going to say on the Magician card in this deck on his hood is an infinity symbol. Don't be surprised if you're seeing feathers to remind you you're protected by spirit, but also infinity symbols saying the possibilities are through the roof for you, now more than ever. The number 3 feels quite relevant, as well as the number 6, and I'm getting 12 specifically. You're going to feel like temperature is part of your month, whether you're overheating at certain points, whether you're, you know, getting cold, that could be a spiritual occurrence. But as well, spirits can make you overheat, right? So just take care of yourself. I know a lot of which are going to be busy throughout the month at certain points or in general, but you need to make sure you're taking care of your physical being, even your mental status, your emotional status. You need to be making sure that when you have the allotted time to heal as well, heal, okay? Because it's going to feel like it's easy to get distracted and start to get busy again, or you may get a spiritual push to accomplish something in the moment when maybe you should be healing more so. Trust your intuition. But there are reasons to celebrate Aquarius, and I feel like the month highlights that. Again, look at this imagery. Positive and healthy, even necessary connecting. Certain cool conversations are going to come to be, and this might not be something new for you individually. I know for me, and I have Aquarius in my chart, it's not going to be new, but it's going to feel continued. Maybe talking about things like spirituality, I want to say religion for some. It could as well be in regards to, say, creepy things like hauntings and you name it. Maybe things like being affected by energy, astrology maybe coming up in conversation as well. And specifically, if I could spit it out, things like social media are going to be utilized. I want to say even ads, otherwise like a billboard or something. Or you're going to see that spirit utilizes that as I get a bit distracted for messages. Okay, you're also going to find that you randomly space out at times of importance. Maybe you need to exit that conversation or just stop focusing on something in the moment. Or maybe it's because you're meant to zone in on something. Okay, like the number 18 is what I'm looking at. But let's get ready to wrap up this reading with the number 1444 as well, saying that this is a time where, again, you need to stay organized or get back to that state of being. It's a time of abundance, my friend, and it's a time of change. Beautiful reading. So I hope it was truly helpful. Sending you so much love and light.